My name is Shawn Fraser. I'm the CEO for the John Howard Society. So really grateful that you could join with us this morning. It's a big day for us. We're kicking off a fundraising campaign for Lulu's Lodge, our LGBTQ2S youth shelter here in Regina, or youth home here in Regina. We're trying to raise $100,000, and today's the clock starts ticking. So I'll just give you a little, before I hand it over to some of our real guest speakers, I'll just give you a little background on what Lulu's Lodge is all about. So the program started in 2018. John Howard actually runs a series of youth homes across Saskatchewan. And it happened, we noticed that a lot of the youth that were coming to us for service were part of the LGBTQ2S community. So, sometimes in the nonprofit world, if you take on a new project, you're following the money, right? There's a grant opportunity, you apply, the money's there, you get approved, you figure out the details once you have a budget. This was a little different. This was actually us following the needs of a community. We saw a great need in the community for this service. So we jumped in head first without having a budget really to start with. So in 2018, we started renting a house from Vanmackelberg Housing Corporation, one of our Indigenous housing providers here in the city. That went well. We didn't really have much of a budget. We kind of pieced it together through supports from other programs. And then last year, about a year ago, actually right now, we, with the generous support of the Saskatchewan Housing Corporation, we were able to buy our own home for Lulu's. So we were really grateful for that. Saskatchewan Housing Corp put up part of the money, and then we had to take a mortgage for the rest of the money. Since that time, the program's continued to grow and evolve, and we've really helped a lot of people, I think, in the short time that we've had the program running. And we're just hoping to make that program stronger and stronger. And part of that is reaching out to people, like I said today, to ask for help in paying down that mortgage. So again, our goal is to raise $100,000 in the next 2 years. And we're really pretty excited and confident that we can do that. So far, without asking for it, we've just had so many people in the community reach out and offer their support with funding over the last couple of years. Everything from private businesses to school groups to faith communities to individuals. You'll hear from some of those folks today. But it's just been, we've really been overwhelmed that without asking for money, we've had so much support. And now, that we're trying to put a tangible target in place, we think we're going to have good luck with that. So before we get into kind of the details about, some of the finer details about Lulu's, just to let people know how they can help out, we have a website that if you Google John Howard Society of Saskatchewan, you'll find. And on there, we have a page where you can make an individual donation. We're a charitable organization. So, of course, we offer tax receipts for anything. I believe it's over $10. So we'll encourage people to donate individually. And also, we have some resources on there for organizations if they want to help us with fundraisers, how to do a fundraiser. So there's a document on there about corporate sponsorship, right? If somebody wants to, give money as a corporation, we have some different tiers, and we kind of explain what that would mean for them and what it would mean for us, for them to help out that way. And then we also have a package on there outlining, if community groups, like I say, faith communities or school groups or anything like that want to help out, we have a package on there that'll explain how they can do that. Shares our logo, some ideas, some past examples, that sort of thing. So really excited to get this rolling. I'm talking too much, but I just want to say one thing before I hand it over to our next guest speaker here. Earlier today, actually, I was asked about what makes Lulu's special. And that's a really interesting question to me, because on the surface, I would argue, like, what really makes it special is what makes every group home special. We're trying to provide just really the basics, a dry place to sleep, a bit of community and support, and peers and mentors that are sort of stable and there to help people out. So again, on the surface, there's one argument that Lulu's is quite like the other group homes that we run. But also, if you go to Lulu's, if you've been to Lulu's, if you've been involved with Lulu's, you know that that's not completely true, because there's something really special at Lulu's. And this is, I think, what it comes down to for me, is that growing up is a difficult path for everyone. There's no one who goes through their teen years and early adult years without having some challenges, some hills to climb. The people that really succeed, the young people that succeed and come out flourishing as adults, the common denominator is that they have a supporting community around them. And that's really what we found, is that while things are changing, hopefully, there's a lot of people in the LGBTQ2S that's really what they're lacking. We've heard that in the media sometimes lately with the, talk about conversion therapy and all these things, but it's also, relevant in the stats we see. We see that 40% of homeless youth in Canada, around 40% identify as being part of the LGBTQ2S community. If we look at suicide rates, there's all these things that show that there's lots of people in that community that just don't have that support network that other youth have and should expect. So really, when I think what makes Lulu special, it's really that's really what we're trying to do, is trying to provide it's not quite a family, you know, it's a substitute for a family, but it is almost really quite like a family at Lulu's. So I think it's just such a special thing. I'm so grateful for John Howard to be part of it. We have so many people, good people involved already, and I'm just so excited for us to kick off this campaign and invite more people to be part of the Lulu's family. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Tanna Young. Tanna Young is our Director of Social Programs for Regina, and she's I'll say first off, she's part of the reason why Lulu's existed. You know, she was around when we got the program kicked off, and she's really played a crucial role right from the inception of this as an idea to where it is today. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Tanna. Thanks.
Thanks, Shawn. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Yeah, as Shawn mentioned, Lulu's we started in 2018. It's a supportive transitional home for LGBTQ youth between the ages of 16 to 21 who are facing homelessness. In our other programs, we actually saw a huge gap for services for LGBTQ youth living in the margins. And so we decided we needed to step up and fill that gap. So within Lulu's, we provide a safe and inclusive space. And we also provide in-house supports in the areas of health, education, employment, life skills, and connecting to resources in the community, which is key. Most importantly, it provides a sense of community. So as Shawn mentioned as well, many of our youth have been rejected by their families and living in unsafe situations. And so Lulu's provides that sense of community for them. We don't have any core funding for operations. Shawn had mentioned this capital campaign is being launched so that we can pay down the mortgage, but we don't have any core funding for operations. So it's actually been the work of the community through their fundraising efforts that has kept the doors open. So this campaign will ensure that we keep the costs of the home down so we're able to provide those supports. In saying that, Shawn had mentioned as well too that we've created a couple ways to get involved. So if you go to the John Howard Society website, there's a link to the campaign there and you'll see ways to donate. So we've created a toolkit for anybody that wants to get involved with a fundraiser, as well as the sponsor toolkit. And you can go to www.sk.johnhoward.ca/Lulu's campaign to access that. And yeah, that's pretty much all from me. That's enough talking for me. So I will pass it over now to a couple of very important speakers that we have. First being Terry Vanmackelberg. Terry is also known as the drag superstar Flamingo and is a prominent advocate for the LGBTQ community. Terry has been with us since day one with Lulu's and has devoted a significant amount of time to raising money for us. He is definitely our #1 supporter. So I'd like to welcome Terry and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Tanna. I am extremely excited to be here with everyone today. As Tanna mentioned, I'm Terry Vanmackelberg, or also known as Flamingo, and I have dedicated a lot of work and hours into ensuring that Lulu's Lodge remains open. One of the reasons that it's so close to my heart is I'll share a little bit about my journey. I came out of the closet as a gay man 6 years ago now. Before that, I lived the life that I was supposed to live, dictated by my family, my parents, and the community I grew up in. I knew that it wouldn't be safe for me to come out as a gay man at a young age. That led to a lot of emotional stress and physical stress on myself because I couldn't live authentically. If I would have come out as a young child, I wouldn't have a home. There was no Lulu's Lodge back then, or a place for me to go to feel safe. So I would have been on the streets. And, you know, who knows what my life would have been at if I was, you know, forced to live on the streets. Lulu's Lodge provides a safe home for youth to go to who may no longer be able to go home to their family. It also provides more than just a safe home. It provides a family and a sense of community. Shawn mentioned a little bit earlier what it's like when you go into Lulu's Lodge, and the feeling you get walking into this home is unbelievable because these youth, these kids, they know that they belong. They know that they can be who they truly are, who their authentic selves are, and that's something really special. Just, you know, I want everybody to think about if you were a youth and you came out as a straight person to your family and they told you you were no longer to live there. that is exactly what happens to certain individuals in my community. So to have a place for them to go is extremely important. I've dedicated a lot of time to ensure that these doors stay open for Lulu's Lodge. I want every youth to know that they are loved and that they belong, and that it doesn't matter who you are, just be a flamingo in a flock of pigeons. So I do want to thank John Howard Society for this opportunity and for having the doors open. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Terry. We appreciate you so much and everything that you do for us. Lulu's doors would not be open if it wasn't for you, so thank you for that. Up next is Jordyn Dick, a trans youth in the community who actually has friends living at Lulu's. So he's here today to talk about the importance of this type of housing in the community from his perspective. So welcome, Jordyn.
Hi everyone. Do you want me to put my video on?
Sure, if you wish. Whatever you're comfortable with, Jordyn.
Okay, well, my name is Jordyn and I am a trans man in the community. Lulu's is important mainly because without Lulu's, I think there would be a lot more homeless LGBT youth in the community. I think Lulu's has opened up people so they could finally just be happy with who they are, and they can learn independence and learn that they're not alone there. I feel like most people feel they're really supported there, and I've been there a few times, and every time I go there, it's always feels like everyone's happy and glowing for the most part. And Lulu's is just important to a lot of people. But yeah, Lulu's is a great place to have in Saskatchewan, and yeah, and I'm not sure what else to say, but yeah, Lulu's is great.
That's great, Jordyn. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jordyn and Terry. We invited these two here because they've just been great supporters of John Howard and friends of John Howard, and so we're really grateful for them being willing to open themselves up and share. I just want to thank everyone for coming out. Thank you to media for joining us and finding this a story worth talking about. We just the importance of Lulu's Lodge in this community cannot be emphasized enough, and so I just want to give a special thank you to Jordyn for joining us. You are an awesome young man, and we are so grateful to know you, and thank you for being willing to share a bit of your story. And Terry, you know we love you. We're grateful for you. You've done so much for us, and we're just so thankful for this kind of representation and support within the LGBTQ2S+ community. So Tanna or Shawn, do you have any closing thoughts before we close things off for today?
Yeah, I'll keep it short. Yeah, thanks. We really appreciate it. And just, yeah, so excited. There's such an opportunity here, you know, for this to be, it is something great. And, you know, it's, I don't know, we're just grateful when we can take the lead on something again, that it's not, it's hard operating without that core government funding, but there's also opportunity in it for us to have community members help out. And we just want to turn this into the success story that it is already. We want to, you know, encourage, you know, keep that going and let people know about the good work that's being done. And ultimately, this is going to have like a real impact on how we're able to provide service. So very grateful for all the media that's here today for helping us get the word out there. And let's go raise some money.